created to have some fun together, sharing and singing. So, join and enjoy.
Our love for opera brings us together. Thanks for being with us in this trip.
So, hi everybody. And before I forget, because I have forgotten for the complete season, people who are listening to us on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, TuneIn, and all those streaming services, you are not listening to the complete recordings that we are sharing in these episodes. I do a post-production job and I cut 99.9% of the recordings because YouTube keeps flagging us as they all are copyrighted materials. Some of them are very absurd. People who are watching us on YouTube know exactly what we are putting on the screen. As for instance, last week we were sharing a video of Kathleen Battle in not last week, last episode, we were sharing a video with Kathleen Battle, and they said that it was a recording that was taking place in Taiwan. So they complained that it was a recording from Taiwan, which is certainly not. And it is only for copyright reasons that, sorry, people on those streaming services, you are not listening to the complete recording. If you want to refer to the complete recording, I am leaving on the description the links to the videos, or go to YouTube, and on YouTube, we have the complete recordings. They are not being deleted. They are as they are, even with the copyright restrictions, they are not deleting the content. So sorry that I have not told you that before. Okay, so after that message, Raffa, we're having today one of the most popular Mexican songs ever by Mexican composer Agustin Lara. And I
That's
know that
right.
and I know that this is one of your favorites. So why don't you tell us about Granada?
Well, I sang Granada when I was in the college, in a contest. It was a great contest. For my point of view, as you said, is a great masterpiece from Agustin Lara. One of I think, the most greatest hit from Agustin Lara. We know maybe María Bonita, Solamente una vez, and that kind of songs. But I think Granada, even it's a kind of anthem from Spain, even though it's not a Spanish composer, you know. So I think that's one of the biggest um, thing that Granada has, you know, because the Spanish guys are very proud, obviously, in the main Granada city or town. They're very proud of this song, but at the end, it belongs for a Mexican composer, which is Agustin Lara. So, what I would like to say is that it is the very best and high, maybe difficulty to sing, because it has, at least at Agustin Lara's songs, because it has a lot high notes, and you are, as a singer, you have the feel, let's say, in order to um, arrange your voice, or you can uh, bright as much as you want, you know. So that's what I will say about us, about this Granada masterpiece.
The expectation is very high. People
Yeah.
are, since everybody exaggerates in singing this song because it is super
Mm.
exaggerated all everywhere, people are expecting you to exaggerate and to keep the high note for very, very long. Not only that you give the high note, that you keep the note for 5, 6, 7, even up to 8 seconds at full volume. So full volume, high note, and very long, it's usually a recipe for disaster. And it is very common that people can get nervous when they say, okay, I'm going to sing, and we are going to see an example. One of the singers that we are having today, in fact, you will see, has a little problem because you need the position of the voice for singing this song is tricky. You cannot really go full and throw everything out there because by after the middle of the song, your voice will be depleted. So you have to be very smart on how you manage that song. And that's the first thing that I wanted to say, but it is not only the voice, it is also the orchestration. I think that there are as many orchestrations for this song as singers that have sung it, because every singer or every arrangement for the orchestration is different.
Mm-hmm.
The thing, let me tell you this now, because I am going to tell you in the 4 examples that we will be sharing. The reason why I don't like it, it's because I don't like this over exaggeration. It's because this is a very nice, delicate song. In fact, if you go to season 7 in the dissection, Granada is one of the first episodes of the dissection season. I discussed there in detail. This is a very beautiful melody. You see, and the melody flows very nicely. La, 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 la. But since the singer and the orchestra are pushed into the volume, it sounds like the opera Aida. Ta, 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 ta. You see, the orchestra starts very, 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 very high, and the delicacy of the melody of Agustin Lara somehow gets lost. And since the tenor is pushing to, oh my God, this is my first high note. Que yo te veo. He's expecting, how long am I going to sustain the E? Go, da. You see, you go, da. Instead, and it could sound very, very nicely. So we have changed the beauty of Agustin Lara composition for an impressive Lara composition. And that's why people are, or singers are nervous, because they say the expectation is volume, high notes, instead of interpretation, nicely, sophistication, delicacy, and the omission. You see, of course, as usual, I am towards the delicacy of because personally, the melody I like. I sometimes hum it. But if you go, that's too much volume.
Yeah, it's out.
Ears hurt that you keep listening.
I agree.
All that huge sound. But enough with the talk. Let's go for the examples, because we all are here for the examples. So, Raffa, we are going to start, and this is a super interesting recording because we are not starting with a tenor. Of course, this provided the difficulties of the song. 99% of the times it is only tenors, sometimes sopranos, but sopranos have huge problems with the stamina and the strength for the song. But we have a mezzo. Mezzos have a much wider central voice. See how she does. And we have only, this is a perfect example of how international is this song, because we are having the Polish mezzo-soprano Edita Kulczak. This is going to be, it is already very interesting for everybody, and I know that it's going to be for you. Raffa, so this was a rendition by Edita Kulczak. What are your thoughts?
Well, in a way, I will say that for me personally, because at the end, this masterpiece for me, it's a kind of very, once again, personal. No, it's difficult to me imagine this song without an orchestra behind of the singer case. My point of view, the orchestra was fine. Was they doing a good job? Unfortunately for her, because she's not at least Spanian, but is not. His native language is not Spanish. It's a kind of difficult, let's say, obviously, to pronounce the words that has to be pronounced as should be. But at the end, she did very well at the end. I don't know this lady. Is she Russian from Romania? From
Poland.
Is from Poland. Okay, okay. So even worse maybe, because at the end, it's a kind of far away from our language, let's say. But at the end, I think she did very well. What I would like that I really like, sorry, that I really like for her about her is the great performance that she has in the stage. She was in a way smiling. She was secure. She knew
Enjoying.
She was enjoying, and she knows about her instrument. The higher notes, that was perfect, no problem about it. She has a great voice. The interpretation, I think, kind of overreacted maybe, because she was a lot of smiling, let's say, in a way. In a way, but at the end is good to have this kind of singers, because despite of this kind of, let's say, uh, um, points that has no in her favor as a language or something like this, she did it, in my point of view, very well. That's my point of view.
Yeah, I think I agree with you for most of your comments. I am pretty surprised because the orchestra is also Polish. So I never thought that people from Polish would understand music like Lara's, because Lara has this sort of flavor that makes him very recognizable. And one of the things that I liked is that they were parts that were strong in fortissimo. Not all of them, thanks God. The director was smart enough to diminish the volume so that he would allow her voice to be heard. But what I liked is that the orchestra and the singer, the two of them, played with the dynamics correctly. You hear the orchestra, and the orchestra is playing with that melody and the volumes. The rosas de suave. Because when what I was explaining at the beginning, when everybody's excessively in volume, the rosas de suave. You don't notice the melody. It is the rosas de suave fragancia, and she did it completely in the song. This is something that I really, really loved, because I don't think we are going to see it in the other examples. I think she's the only one that is able to capture that dynamics in the music. We can see some, of course, if you're a native speaker of Spanish, you get the 3 or 4 times that she skips even complete words and only goes for the vowel. We know that the j, as in lluvia in Spanish, for us is simple, but I assume that for a Polish is a sound that is not even part of their language. So one understands. So I like that. I like the communion between her voice and the orchestra. I also think she's a very smart singer, because instead of going for keeping excessively, she played with what she knew she could do safely. She didn't put herself at risk for just
that's right. Yes,
enjoying the risk. So, and you have to be very smart, because you know that when you are on a stage and I don't know if there's an expression of that in English, but cuando ya tienes la sangre caliente, si ya estás tendido, when you're like that, you say, yeah, I'm going to do it. In the middle of the note, cracks because you thought you could. You're overexcited, and no, she managed to put that in control so that she is comfortable from beginning to end, which
Yeah.
I really appreciate. Um, I have never heard a version in the voice of a mezzo. I I think I like it even more than several tenors. So
And yes, and I don't want to be, let's say, as we here call in Mexico, machista. I don't
mhm.
want to call, I don't want to say this comment about the gender, let's say, because she is a woman. It's not so common, let's say, in a way that a woman has this capability, this smartness to give this comfortableness in this kind of in this precise song Granada. Most of them belongs to the men's, most of them. I will say that. So this is maybe the third girl, the third lady that I kind of saw, that I can see that she's that is performing this song, and it's quite well. I think it's quite well.
I'm very satisfied. Personally, I
Yeah.
am very satisfied with a Polish singer in Poland playing and singing Agustin Lara like that. It's really good. But now let's go for the second version with orchestra. This time it is a Mexican tenor and in Mexico, so that we can see. This is tenor Carlos Alberto Vázquez live in the city of Puebla, where we all were also present a little over a month ago. And let's see how it goes for him. There we go. So, Rafa, this was tenor Carlos Alberto Velázquez. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, as I can see, he's blind. If I'm not wrong, am I right?
Yes.
Okay, I think that's a very plus about him. He's blind. It's not easy to make music at the end, because at the end, even though that the music um, is created with the ears, in a way, you know that when you are performing in an orchestra or something like this, you need to be very careful with your eyes, with what you're seeing, with the director, with the instrumentations or whatever. So this is very important about that. So, but when a people or a person, in this case a singer, is blind, it has a double, let's say,
Achievement, difficulty,
a
challenge.
difficulty, let's say, a challenge. Thank you. It's double, because at the end he has to be very careful about the time, about the how he's how he is hearing the orchestra and that kind of stuff. So that's a very great point about him. Second, my point of view, if I make a comparison between the first orchestra that we saw, or we heard in the first video, versus this one. This one is great. This one is really great. I really love the that, like, we the musicians know the metals, which is trumpets, uh, um, saxophone, and all that kind of instrument. I don't know how to say maybe in English, but trompetas, saxophones, trombones, that kind of instruments is getting better even every time that the master, or sorry, the whole piece is growing and growing. The arrangement for the orchestra for me was very great. It was very well directed. About him, he has metallic voice, or a very crystal voice. I don't know how to say that in a good sense, in a tenor sense, let's say. But is pure, is clear, is with any kind of dusty or dust or whatever you call, is very clean. He really feels the lyrics. You can, it's almost a kind of theatrical performance, and the last point is that he is singing safety from the beginning at the end. He's singing safety. He knows his voice. He knows his instruments. His instrument, and you can see that he's like a fish in the water. The whole piece, and at the end, when he closed this song, he says, "De sangre y de." Take a breath, and then so, So obviously with a high note, with a high note. So for my point of view, this is a smart way to be in a safety zone, and let's say screw up, because I think that at the very end is the most let's say is the most
difficult, challenging,
or should be spectacular. Should be spectacular at the end. At the end should be you need to explode at the end, and in my point of view, that's he really achieved that. That's what I think.
I'm like 5% in agreement with you. I didn't like the arrangement of the orchestra. 5%. So 95% in disagreement with you. For me, the arrangements for the orchestra are way too theatrical. It's like very Hollywood. Like that's what I would expect from a Hollywood movie. I understand, and the use of the variety of the instruments, I agree. The orchestra is richer in instrumentation than the one from Poland. It's richer, but it's not elegant. It feels like very Hollywood. So when an orchestra sounds very Hollywood, I usually don't like it. And I really I don't like Hollywood orchestras. This could sound like a Hollywood orchestra. He's a lyrical tenor, so he's expected to manage. In fact, he does something that is not written. He does a thrill, Granada, that is not written. There are some singers that add it, and it's not difficult. I mean, if you can handle the high notes and you can manage your voice, you can always add a trill. That's really, it's not that it's nobody can do it. Now, many can do it if they can manage their voices. It adds to the spectacularity of the song, but it really doesn't matter if you don't add it. If you cannot do it, nobody cares. But he added it because he can do it. I think that what other singer? There was a very famous singer who also added this trill. I don't remember. Well,
Jose Carreras.
No, I don't think Jose Carreras cannot handle his voice like that. I don't remember who did it, but well, I said good that he added that. The other thing that I didn't like is what I explained at the beginning. He went for the expectation. Oh, I need to keep the song. Yeah, so we lasted 8 seconds. So that's what I don't like. I would have, and what I have shared earlier, while we heard the mezzo, de rosas de suave fragancia que le, we heard here, de rosas de suave fragancia que le dien, like playing, not
Okay.
enjoying, riding the melody. So I would say this is, from my perspective, a very average interpretation of what we could expect from a tenor. At the end, he was smart, even though I really didn't like it, because it's like a trick. You said he makes a buzz. It is better if, of course, you have to pause because you change the sound from e to the sol. You have to, but I prefer when it is continuous, because when you make a pause to keep more breath, it's like cheating. And I personally, I prefer a shorter the sol. You see, in continuous, only changing the position for the sound on the consonants, than the sol. For me, it's cheating.
Yeah, I agree.
So basically that he sang what people expect from a tenor singing Granada, a Hollywoodian orchestra, richer in instruments, but sounding more Hollywoodian. Personally, I wouldn't keep it for myself. Just another tenor version of Granada. But now, Raffa, it's time to listen to the other two singers that we have for today. So far, we have heard a Polish mezzo, a Mexican tenor, and now we have another surprise because this tenor is from Gales. Very interesting surprise. The pianist is French, from my understanding, and it is also recorded in France. So very international, this next recording. We are having Tristan Little Griffiths, the tenor, going for Granada. Let me share it and put it on the screen so that we can see how he goes. And since this is a piano accompaniment, and Raffa and I have shared before, the voice is way more exposed when you only have a piano than when you have the full orchestra. But let's see how it goes for this tenor from Gales.
Granada, tu tierra está llena de lindas mujeres, de sangre de sol.
So, Raffa, your thoughts on this tenor from Gales, Tristan Little Griffiths?
Well, he has, I will say, a good power voice. He has a very good power voice. Once again, the language is no native, which is a kind of, let's say, a kind of limited situation for them. He seems to be in kind of audition or something, because he's in shorts and something like this.
Yeah, very informal, comfortable. I would
Very
like to
informal,
do
yeah.
that, yeah.
But he is as well, let's say, when he is singing at the same time, he is sitting in a way with the hand in the piano, that kind of not common things, that maybe it's a kind of environment that is not so formal, let's say, maybe in a way that's he's not doing bad, my point of view. In fact, he was fine, he was good. I wouldn't say that I'm convinced at the end. That kind of tenor, for my point of view, you know much better than me what kind of tenor is this guy. But it's a tenor which is very limited in a way in the high notes with that kind of brilliantness which has, for example, Carlos Alberto. My point of view of Carlos Alberto is very shiny. His voice was very shiny, versus this kind of voice is kind of warmer in a way. Maybe it would be better for him from this Wales guy to sing some pieces that has more comfortable for him. I think it's not his best interpretations for my point of view, you know, because at the end it demands more than a power voice. It demands a thing that a lot another things in order to have a good performance in that way. The piano it was very fine for my point of view. It was a very good pianist in there, and I will say there was in a piece of the in the song that I don't know how to say in English, but it seems that he is engolando la voz. It's not that like it's not flowing the voice. I don't know how to say in English. So sorry, but this kind of voice doesn't convince me as well. No, didn't convince me. But that's what I will say for this guy.
Okay, personally, I have mixed emotions with this one. Let's start with the pianist. The pianist is definitely a great artist, but I know he's French. I think he's playing too Frenchy. There is somewhere in between Granada, and it is the Fiesta de Toros, you know, the Fiesta Brava. So it really, not the over exaggeration, because the orchestra and that it's super exaggerated, but he played it to mild, like very French music. So there is a somewhere in between, not so because he's not playing Debussy. It's not Debussy, it is Lara playing for Granada, where there is this Fiesta Brava, Fiesta de Toros, and there is everything that he explains in the song. So there has to be more power, more stamina, more emotion. So I think the pianist lacked that understanding of the music of Lara. If you want something calm, you go for Maria Bonita, and there are other much more calmer, but Granada is not that kind of song. So I think the pianist really didn't get the emotion of Lara. He doesn't sound too loud, but sometimes he plays too pianissimi, too softly. And I have said, yeah, there is a melody, but the melody is never pianissimi. It's piano. Ta-da-dan, 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 and the accents. Ta-da-dan, 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 but he plays ta-da-dan, 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 and there is no emotion there. So for me, the pianist really didn't get it. He's a great artist, only not for Lara. Not for Lara. Granada, without being an exaggeration, really needs more emotion there. As for his the limitations on the language for Tristan Lear Griffiths, I mean, if you're a native speaker of Spanish, you understand exactly what we are saying. About 30% of the song, his words are. I'm not sure what he's saying. He has problems with the T's and the R's and the H's. There are several sounds. Because, of course, if you're a native speaker of English, and the English that it is in Gales, of course, many of the phonemes in Spanish are difficult. Katia and I have also explained that the Spanish itself is a difficult language to sing. Italian is great. But Spanish itself, it's horrible because we have very open we have three and the three have different colors. So for a foreigner, it's very difficult, and you have now to sing it with the projection of an opera singer. It becomes close to impossible. So I understand, but I would appreciate that he would have studied better the language. Personally, I appreciate it when they study better the language. I also think that his voice is better for Granada than it is, for example, Carlos Alberto's, because Carlos Alberto's is too light. And we notice it at the beginning, the cheating that I said, and the pause, sol, because his voice is not strong enough to sustain so you see, you continue with the flow and the volume and the brightness because his voice is not that it's beautiful, it's high, but it's not powerful. And in this case, we have a much more powerful tenor, only he wasn't. It's weird because in the middle of the song, he has a beautiful, I think it is a la, I think it was a la, that he had a very bright, beautiful la, not very long, but he gave a very high note. As opposite at the beginning, when you say, Rosa que le dieron marco a la Virgen Morena, Granada, tu tierra está llena de lindas mujeres de sangre. When he says de sangre, you already see that he's in trouble. You already see that he says, how am I going to sing de sangre, de? And that's why the de is not brilliant. Instead of saying, de, it says, de. You see, like struggling with the sound, but it is because he really didn't study how to go, because for that you can play many tricks. Just before the sangre, you relax, the sangre, you see, because you're relaxed and you have opportunity. But if you come with the stress, the sangre, there is no way you're going to say that brilliant when the voice is already in trouble. But I think maybe it's also because he's young already. Personally, I like his voice more for Granada. Only he needs to polish the language and the way he's going to go for the final notes. What I liked a lot is that he plays better or plays very well with the different emotions and sounds of the song. Even though he doesn't speak the language well, he Morena. You see, he diminishes the voice in the a. Morena, Granada. You see, he plays Granada instead of Granada. There is a complete difference between throwing Granada and Granada. Tu tierra está. He understands better Lara. From my perspective, he understands and he studied a lot from a musical perspective. Interpretation is where there is room for improvement. But from the understanding, I think he really understood what Lara wanted to transmit. Because for me, it's full of those many details. The problem is that when you contrast that emotion with the words that he wants to sing, is when your mind says, okay, this is a strange word, but he tried to make this sound delicate and he has more emotion, then he made a pause. So if in the future, if he continues singing this song, I think that if he polishes the language with all the embellishments that I saw him today in the recording, and he manages to work with the final note, all those things, I think his version of Granada is going to be a very good one, just not yet. Has a good potential, just not yet, from my perspective.
Not yet, yeah.
Okay, but let's go now for the final version. It is another powerful tenor. It is because Granada is very demanding. We're going for Jorge Puerta. It's a tenor. This is a tenor from Venezuela. In fact, last year, or it was this year, early this year, I think it was early this year. Well, recently, in Buenos Aires, I know that he sang Calaf at the Teatro Colón de Buenos Aires, so he is able to sing Nessun Dorma without a problem. That's the kind of voice this guy has. In fact, you're going to hear him, but I think his voice is too powerful for Granada. I think there is too much power in his voice for Granada. Granada needs to be more delicate. But I'm not telling you anything more. I'm not spoiling anything else. So let's see how it goes. Oh, let me share how it goes for this tenor from Venezuela, Jorge Puerta. Okay, so this was Venezuelan tenor Jorge Puerta. Raffa, what do you think?
Kind of confused, to be honest. Because it's a fact, yes, it's a fact. He has a great power voice. He has a very nice box in his stomach, in his diaphragm. So he has the instrument in a physical. He's talented. He knows about what are his limits. My point of view, it's a great singer, as I can see. But I will say that he started too loud. It was fine, maybe in kind of starting, but as you said in the beginning, it's a delicate song. So you need to be very, very smart in a way in order to where you can be loud and where you need to diminish. And he understood in the middle of the song. In the middle of the song, it's around until until the word que me habla de amores. Until that word, he starts to as you said, writing the melody, writing the music, the accompanying with the pianist. Until that moment, he started to writing the song. To be honest, I really don't like the florituras. I think is that correct? Florituras.
Yeah.
In a way, kind of false. Let's say not as. My point of view is that he doesn't feel the florituras, but he thought, I need to put the florituras in there because I know that I can do that, So, and the florituras was not correct, for my point of view, it was not correctly done. It wasn't natural, and better worst, he do it twice. So if you want to arrange a sing with sparkly things, you need to do it just once in order to have that kind of beauty, but not twice, because twice it sounds like you are trying to say, yes, you're trying to say, hey, I am the one, that's not good for me. But the great thing, it was Virgen Morena. It was Virgen Morena. That's a good interpretation. More. And that's a good floritura. It's natural. More. You know? And then the ending, tu tierra está llena de lindas mujeres, de sangre y de sol, in a very, very high note. That was perfect. That was brilliant. It was understandable. It was bright, you know. So that's the reason why I kind of using in a way, because he did very great things, mainly in the closing, mainly in the closing, but he came from the worst to the best. Okay, is when you hear a kind of a song, when you starting to hear that and you say it doesn't see too well, but you then go, and then at the end you say, well, not so bad. Okay, you're not so bad because he was a good close, and that's my point of view. That's what I will say. And the pianist, I think the pianist was great. I will say that maybe the pianist, the girl, the lady, sorry, she understood much better Lara in this version than the other one.
Yeah,
That's what I would say.
I would fully agree 100% with that. From the very first note, you listen to an orchestra or a pianist, you know if it is going to be good, average, or poor. And from the very first note, I said, this woman loves Clara. Because if you look at her body, she's not like the French. She's moving, and her shoulders and her body and she's getting closer.
She is seeing the song, and she's seeing the singer.
There is full communication to understand. Okay,
there are full communication between them. Yeah.
So I really love this pianist. I don't think the name of the pianist is here. No, it's not, unfortunately. But if somebody knows her, please let her know that. She's great. I could listen to her even without the voice of the singer, because she really she's what I was saying. Not another. She's in just where I was expecting. You really feel the energy of Granada and the things that are described here, without exaggeration and without too much control. So I really loved the pianist. And
yes.
As for Jorge Puerta, well, what I was telling you at the beginning, he's a powerful tenor, and you can see it at the end, sorry. You see how he goes for high note, like a canyon, you see, like a laser crossing everything with good power, no hesitation, excellent volume. So you see, and the sol, he transitions, and there is a still full volume. That's exactly what one expects at the ending of this song. So from my perspective, the best ending is Jorge Puertas. Impressive, good volume, high notes, good impostation, no tricks for catching breath. So his ending is the most spectacular of the fourth. The rest of I also agree, the ornaments, doing them twice, I really don't know why, but he chose to do it twice. And I could say that I also agree with you. It has to feel natural. If you're playing with the song, it feels natural. But if you're there's something that is not working. And he wasn't preparing the song in that delicate way so that you can buy that he's playing with the nose. So that's what doesn't make it sound more natural to interpretation. I also didn't like that he added an extra, because that is the tu tierra está llena. He didn't need to add a high note at the está, because it's not written and it's not necessary. You will have your applause at the ending in the sol. So you don't need to add another to prove that you can do it. Also, when you have the correct voice, as it is in Jorge Puertas, when you have the correct voice, you go, Tierra está llena de mujeres de sangre, de sangre, he goes immediately for the high note. Otherwise, de sangre y you see. So you can really appreciate how different tenors approach or how different singers approach the ending of the song. Artistically speaking, I really did not like it. It's really didn't leave me, artistically speaking, I mean interpretation, emotion, accenting words, feeling the music, really didn't leave me that much. It's good that he keeps in the heavy repertoire of the tenors. Good that he keeps there. Granada, I don't know. Maybe with an orchestra in super exaggerated volume, maybe
Could
there.
be, yes.
Could be there.
Yeah.
So time
Yeah.
for voting, Raffa. So our first singer, Edita Kulshak. Okay.
She's good. She was good.
Thumbs up. I agree to that. Yeah, what I explained, and the orchestra I liked. Polish guy going for Lara. Very, very good job. Let's go for the second version with orchestra, Carlos Alberto Vázquez. What would you say?
Thumbs up. Thumbs up for me.
Okay. Definitely not a thumbs down because it's unfair. Maybe somewhere in between what I was explaining, just the expected exaggerated long notes with a wholly good orchestra. So sorry. The tenor from Gales, Tristan Lear Griffiths.
Oh my. I will say as well as you did with Carlos Alberto, maybe, because it's not convinced to me, but not so bad.
I'm not sure, because for his job, my main problem is his pronunciation. He's young, so he has room for improvement, but the pianist moves it like.
But as a whole, the piece.
As a whole, 45 degrees maybe. No. Just adding to the scale. Because it is unfair when the orchestra or the accompaniment plays not in your favor.
Yeah, but at the end, you know that when people see something as a whole, because at the end, they are not like you and me or the musicians guys, you know? They are evaluating as the whole piece. The pianist, because they hear just one thing.
As a whole, yes. Okay, as a whole, because he did a great job in studying Lara, despite the pianist.
Okay.
And finally, Jorge Puerta.
Damn. As a whole. Yes.
Yeah, me again, 45 degrees. Because I cannot say like this because I really love the pianist. So it is unfair. He really didn't do it. He really didn't do it that bad. Only he was not very artistic in his singing, but it's not a bad rendition. It's not bad. He doesn't fail. He's in a good pitch. He has a voice. So yeah. Let's give that thumbs up. So that is for today's program on the very, very well-known song Granada. Any final words, Raffa?
Oh, my pleasure to be here once again. Thank you so much for your invitation.
Well, see you everybody in a month. Thank you very much.
You can follow our channel for the latest updates and more content. Opera We Love Singing, in just one word. Link in the description of the episode.